It's 9/11. And I tweeted this morning, just a little while ago, actually, and I got some really interesting responses to this. I tweeted, let's see here. I want to get the exact words right. Oh, that's not it. I was tweeting about 9/11 this morning, right? And what I tweeted was, it's 9/11. On this day in 2001, almost 3,000 Americans were killed by foreign terrorists. Today, almost 200,000 Americans are dead because the man in the White House intentionally lied to us for 9 months, and half of America believed him. Which is a worse tragedy/crime? And, I think it's a reasonable question. I'm getting some very, very, very interesting responses, in addition to a few trolls out there. But Trump took this on last night. Or broadly, he tried to compare himself to Winston Churchill, right? And he says, as Franklin Roosevelt said, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. We're doing very well. We are. He says, when Hitler was bombing London, Churchill, a great leader, would oftentimes go to a roof in London and speak. And he always spoke with calmness. Okay, fact check. Churchill never gave a speech from a rooftop in London during the Blitz. He would go up on rooftops from time to see what was going on, to watch the bombing, but he never got up to give a speech. Trump then goes on to say, he said we have to show calmness. He did it the right way. We've done a job like nobody. Well, yeah, we have done a job like nobody. Here's what Churchill actually had to say. He says, this is going to be, he said, we are preparing for one of the greatest battles in history. I would say to the House, as I said to those who have joined this government, I have nothing to offer but blood, toil, tears, and sweat. He went on to say, we have before us, this is Churchill, who Trump lied about last night in Michigan. Churchill said, we have before us an ordeal of the most grievous kind. We have before us many, many long months of struggle and suffering. Now, Trump, back on February 10th, right after he had told Bob Woodward how deadly this disease was, publicly said, a lot of people think this goes away in April with the heat. The heat comes in. Typically, that'll go away in April. Here's what Churchill had to say. You ask, what is our policy? I can say, it is to wage war by sea, land, and air with all our might and all the strength that God can give us, to wage war against a monstrous tyranny never surpassed in the dark, lamentable catalog of human crime. That is our policy. Trump, this, by the way, Mark Sumner put together a great concatenation or, kind of interlacing, actually, of these quotes over at dailycoast.com. So Trump says, you have 15 people, and the 15 within a couple days is going to be down to close to zero. That's a pretty good job we've done. This, line through his teeth. That was February 27th. Churchill, you ask, what is our aim? I can answer in one word. It is victory. Victory at all costs. Victory in spite of all terror. Victory, however long and hard the road may be. For without victory, there is no survival. And Trump again saying, oh, yeah, Churchill said, calm down, don't worry. I lied to people the same way Churchill did, essentially is what he was saying last night. Churchill said, I feel sure that our cause will not be suffered to fail among men. At this time, I feel entitled to claim the aid of all, and I say, come then, let us go forward with our united strength. And then, meanwhile, Trump was lying to us. He was lying to all of us. I also think, yesterday, the Republicans, Mitch McConnell, basically in the Senate. Now, keep in mind, back in May, the House of Representatives, on a bipartisan basis, there were some Republican votes for this, voted for the HEROES Act, which, transferred it was a $3 trillion, it funded state and local governments to get them out of the crisis that they're in. And by the way, the wildfires aren't helping any in a dozen western states. It gave everybody $600 a week. Keep in mind, this was back in May. This passed the House on a bipartisan basis. It gave everyone on unemployment $600 a week. It did all kinds of, it funded the Postal Service, it funded our election security, et cetera, et cetera. McConnell refuses to bring that up. He threw out a bill that eliminates liability for companies for their workers' deaths or sickness as a result of their basically forcing them into COVID situations. And you know, that was that, and gave $300 a week to people, and it's like, really? And anyhow, the Democrats in the House, or in the Senate rather, stopped it, and you know, which I think is probably a fairly good thing. But this is, yeah, and here we go. You want to know what a worker's life is worth in America? Donald Trump's Occupational Safety and Health Administration, speaking of limitations of liability, Mitch McConnell is trying to take this down to zero. A meatpacking company was fined by OSHA for exposing their employees. 1,294 employees got COVID, and they were fined roughly $10 per person. How dare you? This is against Smithfield, the Chinese company, the Chinese-owned meatpacking plant, largest chicken processors in the United States. Chicken or pork, one or the other. Maybe it's pork, whatever it is. This was in their Sioux Falls plant. They were fined a total of $13,400. $13,494. Roughly $13,500. I mean, this is crazy. This is just crazy stuff. But where I was going with this, just to finish this thought, we're going to hit the break and then I'll pick up your phone calls, is that when McConnell proposed that and then after it was defeated said, okay, basically that's it. He's washing his hands. Congress is only in session for a couple more weeks and then they're gone until after the election. All of October, no Congress, right? And I think that McConnell is looking at the polling and he's saying, okay, Republicans are going to lose the House, we're going to lose the Senate, we're going to lose the White House. So what's our number one priority? Well, number one and two. Number one, of course, get more federal judges in place so that we can block anything that progressives try to do, Democrats try to do that's progressive. And number two, destroy the economy. Right? The longer people aren't getting enhanced unemployment benefits when you've got 10 million unemployed people in the United States, the longer there's not what's called aggregate demand. There's not people buying things, which drives the economy. So he's trying, in my opinion, what's going on is Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump are trying to crash the economy in the hopes that, when the Democrats come in, they inherit a mess even worse than the one that George W. Bush left to Barack Obama.